it's also, it's not a good draft for quarterbacks, it sounds like. So, like, I can't just assume the Browns are going to get one. And there are, if you go through the list of the teams that will probably need a quarterback after this year, it's like astounding. There's so many. And I don't know where all these quarterbacks are going to come from. So if you're the Browns and you have, again, let's say a quarterback in the top 10, okay? Are you sure you want to let him go and try to get who's behind door number B or whatever? Like, I don't get that.
Well, it'd be letter, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers, huh? Oh.
No.
I thought you guys had put him in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Well, no, we didn't put.
Does your show?
No, Pittsburgh put him in Pittsburgh. I mean, that is not us.
Did that himself.
We didn't do any.
Saw it this morning. I think Daniel Jeremiah tweeted it that a guy, he was like, Mitch Trubisky is probably going to get another starting opportunity next year. You look at the way Chicago's offense is this year, like, he's under Josh Allen and Dable. He might, like, there's a good chance with how few actual guys are out there.
So all these guys stink coming out this year in the NFL or in the college?
Rattler was supposed to be the number one overall pick.
They're not.
That's what's kind of bullshit, though. Like, who knows if someone gets drafted in the second and third round that they thought was just like on paper, just some guy, and he turns out to be unbelievable.
So that could always happen. Obviously, you have the Russes and the Toms and the Tonys and the Daks and there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of success stories. I mean, Aaron even dropped after being the number one overall. He fell. But I think in a lot of those years, the reason why they're in the third, fourth round or whatever is because there's other quarterbacks that are being. I think this particular time, a lot of scouts are like, there is really nobody up at the top end of this thing. Spencer Rattler, I don't know if anybody would invest a top 5 pick in that guy.
No way.
I'm not 100% sure. Just because I don't know anything about him. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. But anytime you mention his name to anybody that has any knowledge of him, they're basically like, he ain't ready to do any. That guy needs to change a lot upstairs before he becomes a guy anywhere, let alone the NFL. How about Oklahoma? He's got a lot that he has to change.
Yeah, weren't they already reporting that he was like, instead of transferring, he was going to go to like
train
Arizona?
To become a top 5 pick or whatever.
Just get ready for the NFL.
School.
Yeah.
So he didn't hit the portal.
I don't think so.
No.
Hey, how about DJ Uiagalelei being a part of that Dr. Pepper transfer portal commercial?
Yeah.
Good for him. They kind of stink, right? Clemson, they kind of stink.
Their offense
Unranked.
stinks, yeah.
How come?
Their offense is terrible.
So there really is Alabama. Bryce, he's too young. He can't come out, right?
No.
It's Malik Willis, the quarterback who Liberty is.
Desmond Ridder. What about Desmond Ridder? What?
Accuracy.
Oh, he can't throw a ball?
I mean, he could throw a ball. He throws a great deep ball, but like intermediate routes, accurate. Malik Willis is the guy from Liberty who's number 1. Corral's number 2.
Liberty has the number 1 overall quarterback?
He originally was at Auburn, I believe, and then transferred to Liberty, and he's been dominant there. And then Corral, and then a guy named Carson Strong from Nevada.
Congrats to like Baker and them, though.
What's his name?
He's coming up on a contract year, and they're
Yeah.
like that is a massive ordeal. We had to get rid of Peyton.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Luck was sitting there, and we had Andrew Luck potentially waiting, and it would be irresponsible if you didn't draft Andrew Luck, who's supposed to be the next Peyton Manning, the next John Elway, and you didn't know what was going to happen with Peyton because you had a certain amount of money you had to give him. He also had that neck thing, and it was in the middle of the lock. It was just there was a lot going on there. For Baker and these other guys who are in contract years, I think this is good news for them that everybody stinks in college. Is it the style of play, or is it the quarterback itself? Is this a future problem that's going to happen?
It's definitely a little bit of style of play because you worry about them actually making reads and stuff in the NFL. But there's also just like that. Every so often, there's that surefire guy who like you think can't miss. I don't think there's any can't miss guys in.
So obviously, Ian Rapoport saying that Baker Mayfield's like number 8 or number 9 guy in the NFL, where I immediately told him, well, we're not going to get into this, but the internet will let you know how you feel. And I think Rapoport actually said, oh, great, is what he said. It has happened on the internet.
Figured.
And whenever you start looking at that AFC North quarterback, I mean, Lamar Jackson seems to only be getting better.
Yep.
Joey Burrow's got his guy in Jamar Chase, and they're building. And now what will happen at the end of the year,
When it's cold.
that's a thing.
They play this weekend.
Who?
Joey and Lamar.
Big one.
That's what the
hot in the
AFC North is staring down for the next 20 years.
It's hot in the kitchen.
It is hot in the kitchen, the AFC North. That's what Mike Tomlin said. We're always going to be good. That's why it's interesting to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do, who have always been a prominent team in the AFC North. How's that going to go as other teams seem to be building and sprucing up around them and continue to outgrow? But Baker Mayfield, if you get rid of Baker but you keep that whole roster, do you still keep that whole roster? Can you drop anybody in that roster with how their offensive line has been built if they're healthy, with the 2 running backs, with the weapons you have? I just think it's going to be hard for them to get rid of a guy who won when nobody else was able to win. Even though you look around the AFC North, it's like they seem to be younger, better, faster. How we doing, Art?